Dear friends, it is an honor to speak today on this important topic. According to opinions of many experts, religion is one of the main reasons that fundamental human rights of women and girls are violated, and that they are subjected to brutal violence. There is an influence of religious fundamentalists on the legal system. Suppression of the Iranian women have always been a major concern. They have been systematically suppressed by the clerical regime ruling Iran. Violence against women in Iran is different compared to other countries because there is authorized in the legislation and promoted by it. According to the reports concerning Iran, every year hundreds of Iranian women are killed as a result of honor killings. UNO report says that almost 30% of all murders cases in Iran are the honor murders of women and girls. According to World Economic Forum report, in 2017, Iran was the sixth worst performer in the world in terms of gender parity. 23. This is the number of limitations in the Iranian legal system concerning married women. Applying for a passport, traveling outside their homes, choosing of the place of residency, and many other very usual for us aspects of everyday life. Women cannot find work and can't work like men. Discrimination based on the gender is still a reality. The Iranian Civil Code provides that a man can prevent his wife from working if he deems that it's against the interest of the family or his dignity. Women don't have legal protection against domestic violence or sexual harassment. In the Iranian legal system, you won't find non-discrimination provisions. According to an Amnesty International report, the respect for human rights has got seriously worse. The Norway-based Iran Human Rights Organization is warning that in Iran 9-year-old girls and 15-year-old boys can be executed. In recent reports by the NCRI Women's Committee, the inhuman treatment of women in Iranian prisons is shocking. This is not the case of ill treatment of one or two prisoners, but systematic cruelty to inflict more pressure, especially on political prisoners. Actually, what is very inspiring is that Iranian women have not given in until today. Women play key roles in all anti-regime protests. They are strong in the face of their adversaries in prisons, in the streets, and everywhere, and use every opportunity to counter the regime misogynist policies. In the November 2019 protests, more than 1,500 protesters were killed, including 400 women. This number speaks for itself. Thousands more were arrested during the protests and are still under torture or on death row. They encourage others to break the silence and express their discontent. Female voices in chanting anti-regime slogans dominate in every protest. Women are everywhere, and that courage is required to stand up against the religious dictatorship. But why are Iranian women so strong? Iran has a resistance movement led by a woman, Maryam Rajavi, whom I respect a great deal. More than 50% of the NCRI members are women. Mariam Rajavi has put all her ideas about gender equality into practice. She is a woman of extraordinary courage, who has been an inspiration to all Iranians, especially the women of Iran who are yearning for freedom, human rights, democracy, social justice, and most importantly, gender equality. Under her leadership, women in the Iranian resistance have not only achieved gender equality, but also occupy the leading positions of this great democratic movement. So Mariam Rajavi and the women of her movement have turned into real models and source of inspiration for millions of Iranian women. I finish my speech with declaring my full support for the viable democratic alternative, and I support Mrs. Rajavi's 10-point plan for a free Iran where no woman or girl will suffer under such inhuman policies. The 21st century has shown us that women leaders are capable of governing countries better than men in situations of crisis like the current pandemic, as is the case in New Zealand, Finland, or Germany. Our obligation and responsibility as politicians is to step up the fight for women's rights, not only because gender equality is one of the cornerstones of our civilization, but because when women's rights are violated, it's the whole world that loses out.